my work that I created started from 2016 after I completed my studies at the Intercultural Theatre Institute. So they had a very good definition of what being inclusive is. So I'm not going to go into that. But in a simple way to say, the marginalized and the people who are excluded. That's the main idea of the inclusive portion of it. So I talk from the marginalized per se, and most of my work is about the minority voice. So when I was studying itself, one of the things that I noted was there was a lot of production which is multilingual. But when I went to watch those multilingual productions, the one thing that really bothered me was there was Malay, there was English, there was Chinese, but there was never the Tamil language included in any of this multilingual production. And it's always a question I ask the directors or the playwrights as to why is that so. And one of the common reasons they gave is they do not have knowledge of our culture, or what we say, what is our lingo, how do we put y'all into the picture. So that kept me thinking about what I want to do after graduation. And also, immediately after graduation, for one entire year, there was no auditions that I could go for, because there was no plays written for Indians. So it was a bit of a sad factor, but it was a hard factor that hit me hard. And that's the reason why I started creating my own productions. So I started with my very first show called Mother Ai Amana Ibu Aku. I started doing this just by interviewing various people, asking them about motherhood and everything, and I ended up having a huge compilation of messages that I can do, and I split it into 3 shows: Mother Ai 1, 2, and 3. So one talks about birth-related stories. But the interesting thing about this show that a lot of people pointed out was I used the minority voices. I only had one Malay cast and one Indian cast in this entire production, and they narrated stories, because in usual general settings, what we notice and see is stories from the Chinese family perspective, right? So we hardly see the Indian family perspective or the Malay family perspective being presented in English for audience in a lot of times. So that was one of the reasons why I did this. But I also started to include the multilingualism in the production, which I thought was important. So there was Tamil, there was Malay, and there was English. But then I thought that now I'm being the exclusive one. I'm excluding the other language, so that's not good, right? That's when I went to do my second production, which was Mother Ai 2. And then we did the multilingual per se. So I had a Chinese cast as well, but we also included Hokkien and Bahasa Indonesia as languages in our production itself. So these 2 productions were 2 that I staged. And then I moved on to doing productions. I thought not just a lingual aspect, but what else is the need for inclusivity. Okay? And that's where the next one that I chose to do is Goddesses of Words, which is basically a place that I created with the Arts House to devise work out of poetry written by Indian female writers. I don't think we know a lot of Indian female writers at this moment. Do we? Anyone? Can name anyone? Pooja Nancy, very good. Okay, that's one. There was another popular one. Deborah Emanuel. Okay, yeah. So the first one is not with them. The first version of my work was with the Nightingale of India, known as Sarojini Naidu. I used her poetry, and I created this piece. And there was a lot of different avenues you can put the inclusivity in, because this particular one is about sexual assault and harassment. That's what this entire play was about. And that is also a voice that we hardly hear. We don't really hear people talk about their experiences, talk about what they want to do. And this entire play was all real stories that happened in Singapore that was presented in it. And one of the good things in this play, at the end of it, when we do a post-show discussion, I actually asked my audience, how many of you were victims of sexual harassment and assault? 95% of them put up their hands. So that's how a big issue it is, but it's hardly spoken about in our context. So I moved on to doing Goddesses of Word 2, which is about angry Indian women in Singapore. This was well received because this was directly talking about racism in Singapore. It was talking about gender discrimination. So these are topics that we do face as a minority, and I think it was important to bring them across and bring them out to the society. Okay, and then after this, I decided, this is not my production, this is by another company called RDG, and they worked with Esplanade to create this. And basically, I was invited to as an actor to do this job, do this work. And for me was the elderly in Singapore, they are hardly represented, and in the elderly also the cleaners are never represented. So I decided to do this series called the Cleaner Series. So for me, the title of the work was Watching the World Go By, because they are the neglected group in a way. So this was basically about elderly auntie who sells tissue paper. So I interviewed a few people, I got stories from them, and then I created a play out of this. It's just a 10 minutes piece. And the following year, the same one, I did an auntie who jagas the toilet. Okay, it's a perspective people normally, it's a narrative that normally isn't given to the audience. So I thought these are important stuff. And actually next year I'll be doing one more, which is about the hawker center auntie cleaning and clearing tables. Yeah, so it's an entire series I'm creating just to put the marginalized people in this category to show them, to present work with them, this idea. But one of the things that I also do is I work with children's production. Okay, I've done puppetry work before, and most of the time the Indian puppet is always purple in color, which I don't understand. So when Esplanade asked me to do this children production, it's basically a storytelling session at Pig's Playgrounds. So I created this series called Mira's Adventures, and I created my very first brown Muppet, and then I started telling the story. And this really worked because the children started identifying the dark skin, the colorism, which is an issue in Singapore. Okay, they also identify curly hair. People have different hair structures and everything. So visually when they see, they ask questions. And then I realized the mode of my work is to make people ask questions, which is very important. So Mira was one of the shows. The other show that I did was Stories and Songs from the Bow, which is basically this bow is called a Villu Pattu. Is a storytelling format of the Tamils, where we actually have a stringed bell on the bow, and then we hit it, we create music as we do storytelling. So I brought this art form because if you want to know us, it's very important, right? So I brought that along, and the one thing I love working with is saris. Okay, I'm sure every Indian woman at least have about 30 saris in their wardrobe, and they're all just sleeping, not doing anything else. So my mom has a lot. So what I do is I took her saris, I cut them up and make them into puppets. So you see this tortoise over there? But this story, I just sewed it. So later I unpicked all the sewing and then I guess the wear back as a sari. So it's not so bad. So there were a number of puppets I used in this production. I had an elephant with the flapping ears and everything. So it's all creation that we do. And yeah, next slide. And the other one that I did was also Amma Saris, which is another children's play that I did this year. And in this play, it's also again working with saris. I think it's a versatile cloth, and I would really love to bring it to non-Indians to actually explore, wear it, play with it and everything, It's really versatile. And for this particular production, my entire set was just saris. And the props we used was all saris. And the play was not just about saris, like I mentioned in the last session, it was about single parenthood and single child. What is their experience like in their own family? So bringing more further issues that are hardly spoken about into the context, which for me was important. Okay, this brings me to something else that I started doing. Okay, because I understood there was a lack of Indian narratives in Singapore, I decided to do this group called Brown Voices. It's a playwriting collective for minority voices mainly. And with this group, we started in 2019. And yeah, in 2019 and 20 we had other projects. But in 2021, we had projects that we wanted to do with really bringing voice about us to others. So Veil Veil Sonic Walk, it's still available. It's available until 18 Jan. If next year we don't have Thaipusam, this can continue on. Okay, basically all you need to do is go to www.veilveil.sg, and there's an entire audio track that you can listen to. You can walk all the way from Perumal Temple to Tandayudhavani Temple, and you'll hear the entire procession, description of whatever is happening in a Thaipusam, and then you can reach your end destination. So this is one project we were involved in, and next one. Okay, Tamulachi is a digital museum of Tamil women under construction. It's still up, anyone can go and access it. I'll let you have the link later. Okay, so this is a museum that we created, object-based museum, where when you click on the object and then you find out a little bit of story and connection of the object with the Indian culture. And you read about us. And it also features about 25 prominent Indian women in Singapore whom you may not have met. It can be an ordinary woman but who have touched someone's life in an extraordinary manner. So do visit our website, it's called Tamlashi. Okay? It was presented part of Teamworks Now Festival in July this year. And in this festival itself, we also created another show called Rasane. Okay, this is a show that I really enjoyed creating because it brings about our culture to the non-Indians. Most of the audience who came for the show is our digital performance. We're all non-Indians, and they really got to understand who we are, which I thought was very important because we shared about our celebrations, what a woman goes through in life. You know, so the entire thing, the plot is about the grandmother is about to die, and the grandchild is trying to treasure the memory of the grandmother, and then all the grandmother's memories was presented in this performance itself. So we have a segment where she's a seamstress, and then there's an entire sewing segment, and then there was a segment where she uses all the granite or what do you call that? You know the Stone Age machines where you actually grind flour, you do a lot of things. So there was an entire segment based on that, the mortar and pestle kind of thing. Okay, so this is an interesting show that was widely accepted. And then we went on to do Paper Paravai, which is a performance that we gave in August. It highlighted the Indian tailors at Little India. So we actually went to interview a number of tailors at Deka Market, found out about their lives, how they came to Singapore and all those kind of things, and then we created this show telling their stories to the audience. And the last one, okay, this is the latest one that we created under Brown Voices, which is called Teka Unavu Thalangal or Teka Food Walks. This is still available. So if you are interested to find out about the Indians and their history with Little India, if I'm not mistaken, this trail, it goes through a different path. You'll learn about the slaughterhouse, you'll learn about different religions within the community of Little India. And you also have the experience of the taste of food along the way by just listening to the audio track of the stories that they share. Okay, why I'm presenting all productions is very simply, I just give you one thing. The title of my presentation today is Don't Tolerate Me, which I think is very important because I don't want you to tolerate me as a minority. I need you to understand me because I think the government's motto is wrong. Okay, so please understand your neighbors, understand each other rather than just